Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 2005. So here we are with a Blu-ray here, Blu-ray set, Tim Burton. Now, I now have access to this. I don't own it, but it is in my house. And yeah, this set comes with 8 films. Of course, one being Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You've got the Batman films that he made, Beetlejuice, which I'm desperate to see. Mars Attacks, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Want to check that one out. And of course, Sweeney Todd, and Corpse Bride. Sweeney Todd, I did like it. I'm not going to say how much I liked it. Wait for the review for that. But Tim Burton, when he's on form, a great director, no doubt. Edward Scissorhands, in my top 50 of all time. This doesn't come on the set, but I own that anyway. But yes, an absolutely stunning director when on form. Sweeney Todd, I like that, of course. Sleepy Hollow, a masterpiece for me, and I think he has done some bad stuff though. Planet of the Apes being one of them, I really hate that. Definitely one of my top 100 least favourite films still, and I've always hated it. And I last reviewed that for Tim Burton, but now we're here with another film I've never really liked. I must say, I've already mentioned a couple of times on my channel that, but yes, I've never liked it, and I thought maybe I might feel a bit differently going into this rewatch. At times I did, but really, again, I don't quite like the film, but I don't dislike it as much as I used to, and I think it's definitely got some things going for it. It's bookended, with a definitely a opening, and then a final act that I did like. Certainly the first half an hour of this film is actually it's decent. I think it's quite human. It's got its charms. And the ending, sort of 15 minutes, maybe a bit more, it is good as well. I think actually it's got some really touching moments. But yeah, the main stuff of the film, and of course, this is a remake, of the 70s, Willy Wonka, which is far better for me. I really like that film. It's a remake, of course, and Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka, and the stuff in the actual factory, which is some of the stuff that really has to be great. It is the worst stuff. I didn't like this at all. I disliked it overall. There was moments where I really hated, actually, and it's just really, really bad humour. The character development that was present in the other parts disappears. Charlie is really a character that just disappears from most of the film in terms of his presence. What was actually done with him, the grandpa that goes with him as well. But yes, everyone knows the story. Now, of course, it's very, very famous. I don't really need to go into it. But the first half an hour is basically Charlie with his family. You've got Helena Bonham Carter who plays the mum, and you've got kind of a quite a warm, very, very flawed still. It was at this kind of first half an hour, it would have been average for me. I think had a lot of flaws, and it just didn't. It really had some tonal breaks again. And all this kind of stuff, and it was basic, but it was kind of charming. It had some human elements, and it was at least taking itself seriously when it really, really needed to be, and it did have some good character development at times, and overall it was kind of something that I could get somewhat invested in. Freddie Highmore is decent in this film. I think a solid child performance, and then of course. The rest of the family, hit and miss really. Some of the relatives are a bit annoying, but the actual main grandpa that goes with him, once they, of course, get the ticket, and after the half an hour mark, he, early on, again, there's moments where he is really good. Other times, just really, really weird stuff. One of the highlights of the film is when Charlie gets the ticket. Of course, it wasn't the original, but here as well, when he runs back, everything it's good. I think it's kind of it's got this somewhat of magic to it, and early on as well, the sense of wonder. I kind of liked how Willy Wonka and his factory is kind of built up. You could say, and through some exposition there. It was decent. Nothing special at all. And this film really isn't. But it was decent. I liked the house, the kind of location. I really like how Tim Burton does this a lot, where he has kind of a you could say an abstract kind of place, and then it's surrounded by it's kind of an isolated house, same as Edward Scissorhands, and then you've got it kind of on looking or around kind of everything else, and it kind of portrays that here really well. I really like the sets in this film overall. mostly early on. And yeah, I think once they get to the actual, you see the other contenders as well. Unfortunately, all the performances there by the children, aren't good. The characters aren't well developed. They're just annoying throughout the film. But you see them early on. That's one of the flaws as well early on. But you see them, and then basically they all meet up, of course, at the factory. Of course, the very, very iconic one from the original, and I don't like to compare it too much, but Gene Wilder, when he comes out, it's just a great moment in cinema. In this one, it's a shame, it's kind of played cheap comedy here, and it's just not funny, when Johnny Depp says, the earth says hello, all that, it's just stupid. And of course, Johnny Depp plays Willy Wonka in this film, and Johnny Depp really, apart from, no, I think really in everything I've seen him, he's always enjoyable. He's always, good. I think actually, he's quite a lot of time a great actor. He is really an actor I love overall, and I really like him overall as a person as well in real life. But yes, basically, I have a lot of respect for him. But this performance is probably the only one that I can say isn't even the average mark overall. I think it just doesn't work for most of the film. Don't quite know what they're going for here, and of course Tim Burton directs this, and you've got flourishes of his style that we kind of I love, from his early work, but not really. It's kind of a lot more compromise again here, very, very modern in the worst ways a lot of the time. And yes, Johnny Depp, of course, plays Willy Wonka, and it just doesn't work really for me. Until maybe the last 20 minutes, and I actually felt something for him. But, I think it's just really, really annoying. The humour doesn't work pretty much ever until the last sort of moments in the factory. And it's just a very, very inconsistent character that he plays. The writing here isn't good. Just the portrayal here doesn't come across well for me. I think, it's just a character that I never really knew what was going on. It was all very inconsistent, basically. The writing wasn't good. Performance wasn't good, unfortunately. And a lot of tonal breaks, a lot of annoying moments where he kind of just makes stupid faces. It's not a good performance for me, unfortunately. It does pick up a bit, certainly in the last 20 minutes. But most of the time, it's just annoying, bizarre, immature in a bad way, and just doesn't work for me. I think, that it is what it is, kind of thing. Probably worse though are the Oompa Loompas in this film. They are awful, unbearable a lot of the time actually, and basically the songs in this film as well. The actual songs, they're not good mostly. The kind of Veruca Salt one was okay. It wasn't bad. Bit forgettable and generic, but again, it wasn't as annoying as the rest of them. The rest of the songs in this film, the different characters, of course, things happen to. Really, really annoying stuff here for me. It's just got really annoying. And then the Oompa Loompas, they're kind of made to kind of be all trendy kind of thing. It's just really annoys me. Just very, very stupid. Again, modern, in the worst ways. Kind of like trying to be hip, and it's just very, very stupid. And then of course they make loads of stupid faces. Of course. And yeah, I just think there's other things that are good here, in the factory, like the sets. I think the colours, are really good, very popping, and kind of the composition really overall is very good. But generally, the stuff in the factory doesn't work for me, and Johnny Depp certainly doesn't. I don't care really for the performance here. It's a shame to say that. I really love Johnny Depp overall, but this is the only one really that I can say I do not like. Over as a performance, and yeah, I just think the character development of Charlie and everyone really just disappeared. You've got some flashbacks, and that's one of the saving graces really. It does throughout this. It does give some emotion, some interesting development. It's at least interesting and kind of in places well made. Christopher Lee, overall, I think especially in the ending 20 minutes. It's really good. I think I did like what was going on here. Although the first flashback wasn't good, the rest of them were solid. I think, and at least it added some sort of weight to the character. Who otherwise it's just very annoying at one note. But yes, basically once they they come out of the factory, you've got another sort of 20 minutes, you know, of some stuff that is actually pretty good. I think it has some human moments again. I really like the ending actually, the way it ends up. I'm not going to spoil, but yeah, no, it is a very good ending actually. Very very uplifting, you know, and satisfying. And I think, you know, this film could have been a lot better. This story is a great one, and of course, proven that it can be great in a film with Willy Wonka. Again, you know, this is why the kind of thing I don't quite see why this was remade. Certainly, you know, in this fashion. You know, I'm not against remakes. You know, there can be some of the best films of all time. Certain remakes, The Thing, Scarface, the '80s version. You know, and yeah, I think there's also some remakes that people might not even know the remakes, but really, you know, sometimes, you know, when it's a great film, I don't see why, you know, it should be remade. This one, you know, I mean, the original's not perfect, I don't think, but this one really isn't a worthy remake, and I just can't quite see, you know, why Tim Burton would remake this. You know, you can kind of see at times, you know, what he brings is definitely something that is unique, but again, it's just a compromise, and you know, the stuff that is, you know, what he brings, the kind of the gothic kind of feel, and the warm family stuff, the stuff, you know, the kind of the isolation, all this kind of stuff. He brings it at the beginning and the end, and in the actual factory, you know, it's just completely off the rails. It's like he's trying to please, you know, a lot of different people, and just not really knowing what it is, you know, really throughout the factory stuff. A bit messy, you could say. The tone is mostly off, and you've got a whole 15 minutes straight, really, of a bunch of references, including, you know, great bands, and then you've got 2001: A Space Odyssey. They show a lot of the Dawn of Man sequence. That pissed me off, you know, and having the monolith change to a chocolate bar, not good for me. It kind of annoyed me. And then you've got the psycho shower scene. It's like, how many references can you get in there? Wasn't done well. I don't have you know, things against references in general. Certainly not. But here it kind of annoyed me. But yes, you know, I think Mike TV is better than the rest of the kind of children. But Augustus Gloop, Violet Beauregard, and of course Veruca Salt are all terrible characters in this film, and it's just, you know, there's some pretty bad CGI at times as well. But the visuals, you know, overall, they're not bad. I think they're actually really good at times. The score, as I say, very good. You know, Freddie Highmore is good in this film. You know, some other performances. Johnny Depp, unfortunately, not so much. And yeah, I think because of everything I've said, you know, I don't dislike this film, you know, actively anymore. You know, but I don't like it. I don't really care for it. You know, I certainly, if it was based on the sort of first half an hour and then the last sort of 15 minutes or so, you know, which is 45 minutes of the film, yes, I liked it, but overall, if you take into account the actual factory stuff, which, let's face it, isn't, you know, the most important stuff, really, you know, really, you know, overall, I think it's very, very in the middle. I think it's mediocre, below average, definitely, for me. And, you know, I don't, you know, hate it like I used to, but yeah, I think I'd have to give it a 54%. I think that's fair. You know, as I say, I don't really dislike it, you know, flat out anymore. It's kind of a one, you could say, like Spectre, the Bond film, you know, where I think I gave this a similar score, and very, very, I don't like it, you know, but I don't really dislike it. It's very much just on that line, kind of, it's kind of, yeah, it's just there kind of thing. But yeah, I think it has some stuff going for it. But overall, Charlie and Chocolate Factory is just not an impressive film overall, based on what this could have been. You know, it's a remake, and it's far inferior to the original. I've read the book as well many years ago, and yeah, you know, I just think it's a really great story, and it's kind of annoying that it's kind of got messed up. Definitely to do with, you know, the kind of the stuff they're trying to do to make it hip and trendy. You know, Tim Burton, certainly with the Oompa Loompas, they're just really annoying. The comedy throughout, really, and what they've done with Willy Wonka, poor taste for me, you know, and just not funny, just very, very annoying. And yeah, I mean, you know, it looks really good on Blu-ray, of course, and the visuals overall are really good. You know, there's some good sets and everything. And there's definitely elements that I think had it stayed to this kind of tone, and what he was going for, it would have been an impressive film that Tim Burton really, I would have been kind of glad that he made it. His kind of style, his unique kind of dark stuff, atmosphere and everything, and very very similar sort of things in terms of Edward Scissorhands with the isolation, the kind of the house and all this kind of stuff, and just a character that you can root for. But unfortunately, Charlie kind of disappeared as a character throughout most of the film. And then you've got so many stupid moments throughout the film that are just really really bad. Certainly with the Oompa Loompas, the songs are very annoying mostly. And yeah, it's just as I say, mediocre for me. Not quite bad film. I wouldn't say it's bad. I used to probably think that, but certainly better than Planet of the Apes, the remake he made. That was really bad. And it's not his worst film. But again, it's not one of his good ones, and certainly not one of his best. But yeah, it's a mediocre film that it's a shame because I did like a lot of the early stuff, and then certain elements after that. But overall, I can't lie, I didn't overall as a film quite like it. I still think it's below average. It has a lot of flaws. Overall, it just doesn't quite work to an average standard, an acceptable standard. I don't expect to see a less than average film. And I can't really ever be kind of positive about a film that's less than average. And certainly not by Tim Burton. He's a great director when on form, and this film, it really it's not an impressive film by his standards either. But yes, thanks for watching my review. I don't hate the film, but I don't quite like it, and there's certainly some really good stuff here. Definitely, it really is. It's got a lot of human moments, but the main stuff in the factory just doesn't quite work for me at all. It's really annoying, poor taste. The comedy is just quite bad at times. A lot of the characters that worked really well in the Willy Wonka just don't here, and it is well shot and everything like that, and it's got good visuals, really good score. But overall, it's a mediocre film that I wish I did like. I certainly the last and the first act I did like, definitely, and there we have it. Thanks for watching my review of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.